Good morning, sons of the Most High God. Today is November 11th, and so we turn to Proverbs chapter 11 for God's daily dose of wisdom. And verses 24 and 25 jump off the page today, and they read like this. There is one who scatters and yet increases all the more, and there is one who withholds what is justly due, and yet it results only in want. The generous man will be prosperous, and he who waters will himself be watered. And it's interesting that this phrase, there is one who scatters. When I think of scattering, I think of spreading things around, but doing it in kind of a haphazard way. But that's actually not what this word means. It means to be generous. It means to sow. It's the principle of sowing and reaping. There's a scripture that says, do not be deceived, God is not mocked. A man will reap what he sows. If he sows to the flesh, he will from the flesh reap destruction. If he sows to the Spirit, he will from the Spirit reap life, even life eternal. That's the principle of sowing and reaping. And it's also expressed in 2 Corinthians 9:6, where it says, now this I say, he who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Now, in recent conversations, we've heard about the principle of tithing and about how we cannot outgive God, and that is very true. In Malachi, he says, test me on this, and this is the only place in his word where he says to test God. And that is in the principle of bringing the tithe, the whole tithe, into the storehouse. If he will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that cannot be contained. And so there's that principle of not being able to outgive God. But there's also this principle that comes to mind about what is it that we are sowing. Because while this talks about scattering and increasing and withholding and resulting in want, it actually doesn't speak specifically of money. And the thought came to mind this morning, when you're reaping, well, my thoughts went immediately to the fruit of the Spirit. And what is it about the fruit of the Spirit that is unique? And that is that it doesn't require any effort on our part. It's something that the Spirit brings forth in us. However, the principle of sowing and reaping, I think, applies in that area as well. Are we sowing fruit of the Spirit? And if we are, based upon the principle of sowing and reaping, that is also something that we will gather back in greater quantity. So if there's something that we desire in terms of the fruit of the Spirit, that's something that we can begin to put into practice as far as sowing into other people, sowing into different situations, and we will see that return come back to us. This is just a thought that I had this morning when I was reading through and studying these scriptures. I wonder if that applies. I wonder if sowing the fruit of the Spirit would result in a harvest of the fruit of the Spirit. Just an interesting thought that I had. My prayer for us is that we would be one who sows goodness and increases all the more, who sows generously and increases all the more. And we would recognize that every good thing comes from our Father in heaven. And so we're just stewards of that which he has given to us. And just like the managers of the money, the minas, we need to go out and we need to increase that by investing whatever God has given to us in the lives of other people. I love you, my brothers. Go out and make a difference in someone's life today.